Welcome to the Inglorious Blasters podcast, a Star Wars Legion podcast talking anything and everything glorious or inglorious about the game. My name is Corey, and with me today is John and Brendan. How's it going, my nerve burners?
Hey, nerve burners.
Nerve burners. This is, I'm reaching an insult. This insult suggested one was unstable, so... How's it going, my unstable dudes?
Accurate.
Nerve burner. Okay. Yeah, no. That sounds like me. All right.
Yeah. We're all very mentally unstable here at Inglorious Blasters.
Yeah. That's why we're inglorious and not glorious. Yeah. Makes sense.
All day. So today on the podcast, we got some awesome stuff to share with you guys today. We have an interview with AMG. So you're going to hear that in a little bit. And then later on, we're going to go over Moff Gideon and what his command cards and unit cards do. Stick around. Should be awesome.
Yeah. Great interview. And Moff Gideon looks like fun. We'll definitely get into him.
Hey, everyone. This is the Inglorious Blasters, and we have a very special interview for our listeners today. Joining with me, as always, is John and Brendan. But we also have with us Will Pagani and Preston Stone from AMG. Welcome, gentlemen. How's it going?
Hello. It's going good. How are you?
Oh, doing fantastic.
This flow is so much better than mine. That was a great flow.
I mean, the ultimate hello is hello there from Obi-Wan. So, yeah.
True.
Alrighty. So for the audience that may or may not know, can you guys give us a brief rundown of what you guys do for AMG?
So I'm the art director. This is Preston. Hi. I basically arrange for several artists out there in the world, all over the world, to do the illustrations for our cards. And then when they send in the sketches, I tell them how to do it better. And then we go back and forth and we get to the end product that you end up seeing on our cards and game boxes.
He sold himself a little short, I think, because he also does all the marketing, art, and everything, and it's beautiful stuff. Fantastic.
It is.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I am Will Pagani. I'm the development manager at Atomic Mass Games. I wrangle all of the other developers and work on all of the different game lines that we make.
Awesome. Appreciate the rundown. So we're going to have a couple interview questions for you guys today, and we're super jazzed to have you guys on board. So
B2B.
Let's get started. What takes up the most amount of your time during a release process, such as like a unit design, maybe like a model or stats, production, or is it waiting for LFL approval? Just what eats up like the most amount of time during your day?
So I imagine we'll have very different answers to this, but for the game design portion of it, it's really playtest probably takes the most time because designing things is relatively easy, but then you have to see if they work and they're fun and people want to do it and that kind of stuff, and that takes a lot of time and effort from us. So that's probably our biggest from the game development and design side for what we do.
On the art side, I think a lot of it is actually research, but feedback takes quite a bit. So analyzing the art pieces, making sure that the narrative is there, making sure the quality is there, and then checking that against all of the references that we have from LFL.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. So kind of, you touched on it a little bit, that they both have kind of different timelines, but what takes a little bit longer, creating the sculpt for the unit or finalizing the stats for the unit? That's I assume they're being worked on pretty much in tandem for a while, and you just said there's a lot of play testing there, but I'm sure also with designing the model, you just keep looking at it and going, can we make it a little better? So how's that all work out?
The miniature design process takes a very, very long time because not only do you have to create the poses, which Preston, I believe you're involved in as well, but you also then have to create the actual miniature. So Preston, I mean, you could talk a little bit about the posing process, I guess, but
Sure. So I mean, after we have the initial concept of what the product's even going to be, we get going on the concept art for the pose. So we'll come up with like, I don't know, like somewhere between 6 and 30 different poses, depending on how happy we are with the initial batch. But and then we'll send that over to the sculpting team. And yeah, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head that we're kind of working in tandem. We're working on a bunch of different projects at once. So it's all happening over the course of several months. That we both develop and do the sculpt and the art. Everything's happening all at the same time. So
yeah, the lead time on the miniatures, which I'm sure you've heard talked about at different mini extravaganzas and stuff, is about 2 years or more. So it takes a very long time to make miniatures for a lot of reasons. The sculpts are very detailed. The poses are very important and have a lot of back and forth. And then as well the parting out of the miniatures onto the frames and things like that. So like a whole bunch goes into the miniatures, and that is, I think, pretty safe to say that's the longest part of any product is the miniature. I think the sculpting guys and Preston here get started on that well before anything dev related begins. So
Yeah, awesome. I guess it makes sense. I mean, it's a miniatures game. You want to make sure the miniatures are looking great.
yeah, they got to be the coolest. So
Well, when designing the card art, what does that process look like?
Well, it starts with development telling me what they need. So I'm unable to know like what exactly the cards will be. And so basically, our development team will tell me, hey, we need like this upgrade and that character or whatever. And so I'll know sort of a deliverables to, what to deliver to them in the end. From there, I get started on doing the research. I've watched everything Star Wars, but I forget a lot of Star Wars stuff. So I'll go back and rewatch a lot of stuff just to get my head right on what we need. Like, what's the coolest scene that could represent this thing, right? Or in some cases, like it's not based off of like a show or a movie, so it'll be something that I'm just not familiar with. But anyway, I just need to get my head around that, and I'll write up an art brief, send it off to offer it to artists. Whoever decides, hey, I want to do some art in the next 2 months, then they'll pick it up, give me a sketch. We go from there and eventually get a final. So
Awesome. That's very cool.
I'm personally a big fan of the Whistling Birds art from the Mandalorian expansion, because I don't know, it's so striking, and
It really is. Such
It's awesome
that you've done, Preston.
I'm glad you like that. Yeah, I think that was I always like to give my artist shout outs, but Sergei Glushkov, I believe he did the Whistling Birds art. He's normally on a lot of our X-Wing art pieces. One of my favorite ship illustrators. Just really like it's hard to get a lot of like feeling, emotion, movement into just a block of an object that is a ship, and he does that very well.
Oh, now can I ask Preston a question here? Can I interview Preston for a moment?
Oh
Sure,
yeah,
Go for
absolutely.
it, Will.
Did you assign him that art piece because the Mandalorian always wears his helmet, so he's sort of like an inanimate object of a Mandalorian?
Right. So that is a consideration when I reach out to artists. Like I do think about like, oh, I know them for doing like hard surface stuff, so they'll be good at armor or whatever. And in Sergei's case, he had a lot of maybe not a lot, but a few images in his portfolio that like I knew he was competent at human anatomy, or at least it wasn't gonna come in not looking like a human person. Uh, but so I was like, yeah, he can definitely do armor. I know that, and he's just he takes a lot of care, a lot of thought in his pieces, and I knew I was going to get something that had all that the texture and motion that he's great at, and yeah, he's never done wrong, I think. So really happy working with Sergey all these years.
Hooray.
That's awesome. Yeah, you guys definitely have some very, very talented artists over there.
Mm-hmm.
If I can, I would like to jump back into a miniatures question. So can you go like, and I think you touched on this a little bit already, but can you go through some of your process for sculpting the miniatures? So for example, are you doing it digitally using like, I'm vaguely familiar with like ZBrush, or are you doing something with like clay? And do you guys test out your sculpts? Do you have like any type of process for that?
Yeah, I mean, we can't go too much into the nitty gritty of the process, but they're definitely the sculptors definitely use digital sculpting techniques. I think it's ZBrush, but I don't really know. And yeah, we do all sorts of different tests from 3D printing to renders to all that kind of stuff. So yeah, the sculpting department is very busy constantly, and they got little buckets with little things in them just kind of moving around all over in the office, and you're like, what's in that bucket? And they like slap your hand like, no, you can't look yet. So,
It's forbidden. Do not look there.
yep, it's not ready. You're like, okay, fine.
All right, fine.
So,
Awesome.
Yeah. So my next question here is, we're in a great time to be Star Wars fans. There's a lot of Star Wars content coming out. So I'm just curious, do you guys get any kind of early knowledge of things so you can start work on stuff, or are you just learning about it when we are, and then just, deciding, hey, this looks cool from this show, let's start working on it?
yeah, so the specific licensing side of stuff and when we get information is all kept very close to the chest from the higher ups at Atomic Mass Games.
Okay.
So I will say definitely maybe is my answer.
That's fair.
Good answer.
Well, cool. All right. So when designing a unit, what helps determine if you guys want to create a new keyword or use an existing keyword in the game?
Yeah, so one of the major goals at Atomic Mass Games, whenever we're designing anything, whether it's a unit or a card, like a command card or something, or even an upgrade or a mission card or something like the Crashed X-Wing kit that came out, where it's like a narrative scenario, is we want it to feel very authentic and very much like the thing that we are making. So when it comes to making new keywords or new things like that, we always look for, is there something that already exists that we can sort of stick 2 or 3 things that used to exist together to make something unique here that's the feel of this unit or this miniature, this character, or do we need to make something new? And we're not afraid to make new things. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the Dark Troopers have an entire second activation because we were like, oh my gosh, this would be so cool. What if there's this like unrelenting robot that is just unstoppable? How do we do that in the game? Oh my gosh, they get to activate twice. Like, that's so cool. I don't remember who like said that in a meeting. They were like, this is a dumb idea, but what if they went twice? And we're like, my God, it's brilliant. So that happens all the time in the development meetings. But like, I don't know if there's really like a way to say like, we always want to make a new keyword or something, because we don't, right? Like, there's a lot of keywords in Legion. We would rather have less keywords than more keywords if we can, but it's really important that the units and the characters feel like those units and those characters, so that when you're playing it, it's not like, I don't know, the same as something else, right? Like, everything needs to be different and have its own thing and have its thing that it does. And that's really important to us from a design and development standpoint. I don't think I answered your question really at all, but there you go.
I appreciate the response either way.
No, I mean, that made sense to me. But just like following up with that, with so many characters, units, vehicles still not in the game, how do you go about deciding the order that they're going to be worked on?
This is an easy one, Preston. The gosh, I always forget his title. Schick tells me what to make. That's an easy one. No,
a direct order.
There's a lot of things that go into it, right? What does a faction or something need, right? Do they need another vehicle? Do they need a character? Do they need an operative, right? Like all that kind of stuff goes into those decisions. What looks cool? What does the community want, right? Like all that kind of stuff. So I don't think there's really an easy answer to that one because there's just too many variables. And in the end, like we want to make cool stuff, so we pick cool things. Hopefully, we think they're cool anyway.
I think they're cool.
They're definitely cool.
I don't know if you have any more insight on that one, Preston. Maybe you do. I don't know.
I just whine about how Ewoks aren't in the game for long enough until they are. So that happened. I think that's how the order of things happens. So yeah.
Okay. So
we have you to thank for Ewoks. Okay, great.
Among many others.
Yeah, I was a big.
I think we
can do Ewoks. Let's do Ewoks.
Yeah. It just seems it's like one of those things that's just so fun, you know. Like I just
definitely. You know, what's the price point to bribe you to start whining for something else? So we get some stuff we want.
Oh, I'm a habitual whiner, so.
Cool. Are there any current plans to create more core units for existing factions or increase the amount of personnel or heavy weapons for existing core units?
I mean, yes. Yeah, I mean, we're always making new stuff, right? And are there specific plans for core units? I mean, yeah, I mean, how can you not make core units, right? But remember that our schedule goes at least 5 years in the future, right? So like when I say, yes, there's plans for more units, it's not really a spoiler.
Right.
We got a long ways out.
Just got a long list.
So, yeah.
One day.
There will always be more units and more core units, I'm sure.
Hopefully. So we already know that, you know, you've got some you've already spoiled for us some stuff coming for the Galactic Clone Wars in Cody and Ventress. Is there anything else? You don't have to necessarily tell us a unit name, but anything else specific, you know, like a rank we can look forward to coming for that era? Because they are lagging a little behind the Civil War era.
I don't think we're authorized to give any spoilers, but I will tell you that there's a lot of stuff coming.
Okay.
So I can't give you anything specific, no, but I mean, yeah, I mean, there's always a lot of things in the pipe, and they're for all the factions. So whereas Galactic Republic and CIS might be a little behind, they're getting love. Everybody's getting love. So
just takes time. Yeah, we're just really eager. That's all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're just huge fans of the game. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let me tell you, when I see stuff and I'm like, oh my God, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen, whether it be Preston's art or miniatures or even the designs that some of the developers come up with, I'm like, God, we gotta wait years before I can talk about this.
It really is the worst part.
Yeah, you just want to go and tell your friends, I bet, and then just gotta keep lips sealed.
Immediately post it all on social media and be like, the coolest stuff happened. But I can't. So we don't do any of that. But
understood.
It's just amazing to see what this, like, the team is just so amazing. They make everything's great. Like the miniatures, the art, it's just also inspiring, and it's just incredible.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know you just said you can't really spoil anything, so I'm not going to push that. But I just would like to say that I was really, really impressed with the heavy response unit for Blizzard Force, because that is essentially a print and play unit that uses existing components already built into the game. So I was impressed that you were able to make like a new unit, you know. So I was just wondering, like, not wondering because you can't give spoilers, but I would just like to encourage.
Oh.
Like more print and play, because I thought that was super cool, and like, you know, it's just a brand new way to play with like your existing toys. So
Yeah, something that we're really big on at Atomic Mass Games in general, in terms of philosophy, right, is always trying to find new ways for people to use miniatures, whether it's new print and play units, new game modes, new scenarios, right? Like, we're always about, like, the core game is the core game and it's the most important and robust thing, but having lots of different ways to use stuff is always something that we're doing. So if you look at Battle Forces, you see this unit of new stormtroopers, right? Like, that's a great example where you can take something you already have and kind of breathe new life into it, breathe different life into it for something else that you can do. And I personally love those things because it also gives Preston a chance to make more art. And anytime Preston gets to make art, I'm here for it.
It's always a good thing.
So
Always a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
and
You guys
There's-
knocked it out of the park with the Battle Force art, by the way.
Oh yeah,
It's all phenomenal.
all the art in that is amazing.
Thank you.
Very sweet.
Yeah, I remember when we were talking about that stuff, Preston, we were like, can we make like a giant picture and then have it also be 3 command cards and maybe a card? And you were like, can we do what? And there was a lot of like discussions and compositional stuff that went on with that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
It
It
definitely
was a
paid
fun
off.
challenge. We had not done that before, and it was fun to sort of, I guess, compartmentalize a larger scene into that, like a smaller scene that also has its own narrative. Yeah, it was a unique experience, and I like using that idea without giving much away.
I mean, there are more Battle Forces coming. I think we all know.
Yeah.
We do know that. Yes.
Yes, we do know that much. So I'm curious, you've done that for the 4 Battle Forces that have been released. Have you found the process to do that easier, having that experience, or is it still difficult because you're trying to make one big picture?
Oh, I mean, yeah, no, it's always a challenge. It's more of a challenge to direct that piece than it would be just one narrative, because you're dealing with now 3, 4 narratives or whatever, and you need the main piece to read, with one central focus and like fun things going around it, and also you need other pieces to not like overlap so it doesn't feel cheap when you go to the command cards. So that's really the challenge. There's also, if I'm getting into like the really detailed part of it, but like there was atmospheric perspective in the full piece, so like little shifts in contrast or whatever, when you go into the command card portion, so it doesn't feel faded out. All that's kind of important and worth considering. So it's a little bit more work to direct it to where it needs to be, but yeah, they're fun pieces.
So
Can argue with the results.
Follow-up question in my interviews for Preston here. Does that mean like when we took the big art? 'Cause I don't know. I haven't talked about this. When we took the big art and we shrunk it down into the command cards, we messed with the contrast and stuff and the values.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, nice, cool.
Yep.
Was that
Yeah,
to
I mean,
basically make
I just like assumed there was like a little crop tool and you were just like, done.
No, yeah, well, for sure that did happen. But once we had the smaller piece, stuff like the separatist image had their tank in the background, and it was in the larger piece really pushed back into the distance because of the atmospheric perspective. But when that's the only thing you see, it needs to be the foreground. So you need to punch up the contrast just a little bit.
Gotcha. Cool. I'm learning.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so am I.
A minor touch.
It's nothing I would have thought of, that's for sure.
Well, I will reword my next question so that it is less spoilery. Just maybe ask it in a pseudo indirect way. is there anything you guys want to see in the game that's currently not in development?
Well, that's a pretty spoilery question.
I can try to answer that in a non-spoilery way and just tell you a really vague what my preferences are. Like I said, I liked seeing Ewoks, so like my preference is to see non-humanoid stuff, but ultimately I don't really have a say in what we make, so it's not really a spoiler thing. It's just I like aliens. There you go.
I'm with you there, Preston. We need more Twi'leks and other alien races in Star Wars.
Like the Gungans. They have a grand army.
My answer for you will be that I want to see more atmospheric, to steal Preston's word, terrain added to the game. And whether that's through terrain products that we make or the hobbyists out there making cool stuff, right? I love like the indoor bunker. I think is so cool, and like the crashed X-wing I love. And if you haven't seen that thing in person, it is beautiful. Like, because to me, that like telling the story, giving the narrative of it all, right? Like we're here because we love Star Wars, right? We're here because we like a game that deals with all of these characters from Star Wars and stuff. So why not make the battlefield itself part of your game, right? Like adding all of that kind of stuff to me just like doubles down on the flavor and the fun and the enjoyment. I don't know. Is enjoyability?
It is now.
We can make it a word now.
It can be for now. Like it's I don't know. I think that stuff adds so much to the game. While it might not necessarily be rules dense or anything like that, it to me just makes it so much cooler and so much more enjoyable to have that.
And it definitely draws new players into the game. Like anytime we're playing or we're at events, I feel like people walk by, they see the tables, and they automatically are like, "Whoa, is this Star Wars? Like, look at this thing." It
adds to the spectacle of it, I guess. Dallas likes to talk about the spectacle
for sure.
Dallas is our not creative director. Creative director? What is Dallas?
Director is his title, yes.
Yes. That's what he does here.
He's Dallas.
He's a Dallas. He always talks about that kind of stuff whenever we're doing anything, right? Like, well, what is this gonna look like, right? Like, what is it gonna bring to the table? So I don't know. I love that stuff and seeing custom tables, seeing terrain. It does so much for me. So I want to see more of that.
Yeah. Agreed. The terrain is definitely the biggest thing that draws people's attention, right? They see a crashed X-wing on the table and they're like, "Okay, I'm in." It's massive, and so many people came up to us during PAX, and they're just all super impressed with like the terrain, and then the miniatures themselves. Like so many people were just taking pictures of the miniatures themselves. So definitely doing something right over there.
Yeah, I mean, the tables and the minis all feel Star Wars, and the fact that no two tables look the same really draws people in. It makes it look like a very dynamic and fun game.
More.
Yeah, so this might also be a spoilery question you can't answer, but I mean, one thing that I know we all love is the organized play kits that have a lot of alternate art cards. It really helps to build communities. And Corey and I like to run tournaments at our local stores. And aside from some of the Dianoga and the other one, I'm drawing a blank on it right now.
Can't say the name because I don't know if it's this one or the next one, so I'm just not going to say a name. But the
one with the slicer, I can't remember what that one's called. Hold on, it's on the shelf behind me. Dynamic exit. There we go.
There you go.
No, there it is.
So, I mean, I assume there's more scenario-based ones coming, and we definitely look forward to that. But are there going to, and maybe you can't answer this, but are there going to be more that are just like full of just art for support to help build communities?
Absolutely, yes. Yes. There are. I'm not sure they'll be the same as what you are used to from the previous kits, but we do have support kits for stores and things like that in the works. And
awesome.
they are full of beautiful art and alternate art and all sorts of stuff. So
Looking forward to that. I'm sure Preston has had a lot of fun putting a lot of that together.
Yeah, and I'm pushing for more. So
Oh, good. More is usually better.
Yeah, I'm all for more. Of the upgrades I already have with different art on them. I love the alt arts.
oh yeah, there's some pretty creative ones coming in terms of like how promotional material is made and that kind of stuff. So get hyped, I guess. There's some things coming.
Consider me hyped.
And then it's an easy sell.
I like artwork. What can I say?
Yeah, our graphic design team has just absolutely killed it with promo material that's going to be coming out the next while. So very
Excellent.
excited for more on that to be shown and be able to get your hands on it. So
Looking forward to it.
Cool. So you guys previously stated that the points updates on errata would happen like as needed, but usually the trend has been about like a year. I know may or may not be able to answer, but do you foresee this continuing to be an annual thing or whenever you think is necessary? Like, I guess the question is do you have a pulse on like what units are overperforming?
sure, yeah. So we do pay attention, the development team, specifically, I guess Preston might too. I'm not gonna tell him what to do, but the development team does pay attention to the tournament results and stuff that we see online, convention tournaments, that kind of stuff. So we're always kind of watching and waiting in the shadows, I guess is maybe the best way to describe it. But in terms of like a yearly thing, we try not to like guarantee there will be one every year. If things are going well, we don't need a points update, right? If things are not going well, we need a points update. And I see no reason to postpone a needed points update for a year if we just made one and there was an oopsie in it or something. And I also don't see the reason to do one if things are going well. So we do them when we need them. It worked out this year pretty well, where it lined up almost a full year from the last one, but that's certainly not a foregone conclusion or a plan, I guess. Yeah.
Awesome. Sounds good to me.
Makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, you said you look at the tournaments for the rebalance. Yeah, you're specifically looking at just the top lists, or you're also looking at the bottom lists to see what isn't performing, or kind of look everything and just.
Yeah, I mean, we really look at everything, right? Like, if you look at 10 tournaments worth of results and you've never seen I'm going to say shore trooper, which is just obviously not correct, but you've never seen a shore trooper, like, maybe you should help out the shore troopers a little bit, right? Not saying that we're going to help out shore troopers, because I know.
Right, just an example.
Yeah, just pick a random name. Yeah, but like we are much more sort of about bringing up the bottom, I guess, in terms of our philosophy of game design, than it is about bringing down the top. Now, that doesn't mean that you never touch the top, right? But the hope is that you can get more variety and more different things on the table by making things better, rather than changing and creating feel bad moments for players things down. So, because y'all do a lot of work to assemble and paint these miniatures and collect them, and the last thing that I want to do is say, hey, that guy's not good anymore. So,
that unit will stay on my shelf.
Yeah, like nobody likes that. I mean, I paint so many miniatures every year, and I would feel really bad if that happened to me. So I don't want to do that to y'all either, and I don't want our developers to do that to y'all. So
yeah, I appreciate that design philosophy. I also agree with buffing the units that might need help, rather than tone down some of the, like, super tone down some of the stronger ones. So
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, I have to say the points update you just did, I loved it. You touched the things that had been problems and left most things alone. That felt like a very deft hand, and obviously if you see that you overdid it, you can make a small change. You don't have to do a lot. So I really appreciated that.
Yeah. Thank you. Andrew Durson did most of the work on that one, and he did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's have a fun question. What's your favorite unit in the game right now?
Does it have to be released?
was gonna say
Because it's,
Ewoks.
'cause it's obviously
I mean, okay, yeah, that's a good answer. Everyone needs to look forward to Ewoks.
Now, my question is, do you like the Ewoks because they're Ewoks or because of their how they play on the table? Or
I
mix
like
of
them
both.
because they're Ewoks. Personally, got me an answer.
yeah, I mean, I love everything about the Ewoks. I love their miniatures. I think their art is phenomenal. And I'm gonna say something a little strange, which is the like teeth on the Ewoks and all of the art. I don't know, it just makes them seem so ferocious. And I'm like, "Arr." So like I love all of that coming out of the Ewok art. The miniatures are just fantastic. Like they're so small and they're so angry that it's just beautiful. And then I think Darson did a phenomenal job with the rules and creating something very different and very unique that really feels like Ewoks. So I'm very excited for them to come out and for y'all to get them. And I'm going to be painting an army of them. So I'm excited.
So if this
Awesome.
isn't already in the works, you should come up with a scenario that's kind of like Ewok Hunt in Battlefront 2, just to make them terrifying.
Well, they are definitely terrifying. So I'm not sure if we can get the glowing eyes on the miniatures, but
I do that with a couple airbrush techniques, get some glow going. So you said an army of Ewoks. Have we extracted a spoiler of sorts?
No. They already let us know it's a battle force. It's a battle force of Ewoks.
yeah, we talked about that.
Just 200 Ewoks. So you have the
200 Ewoks. That would be a lot of Ewoks to paint.
That would be a lot to paint. My backlog's big enough without thinking about that. Oh no. So Preston, how about for you? Is there a piece of art that you were the most pleased with the whole process of getting it going that is released? I'm not going to fish for a spoiler.
Like ever?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like you mentioned the battle forces. I honestly like that whole set just ended up so great. I, I can't remember if we've spoiled one yet, so I'm hesitant to say what one of my favorites is. But
You message it to me. I can thumbs up or thumbs down you.
I can play the Jeopardy music in the meantime.
No, I'll just stick with my answer. I'm pretty sure we have not spoiled a thing, but yeah. I just love that we were able to put together really dynamic scenes that work as a large scene that, you know, it represents this iconic moment maybe between the scenes in the movie, and we were also able to split that up into command cards that work. That it was a engaging experience as an art director, where a lot of the time, you know, I just like to let artists do their thing with really minimal touches. This was very much a back and forth process of trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. So it was just more work for me, but kind of more fun, you know, more involved, and I enjoy being involved. So.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Alrighty. Well,
I think we did it.
think we did it.
Unless we can somehow get a spoiler out of you guys.
No, they're an impenetrable
I
fortress.
know.
It's totally fine. No, but I appreciate you guys coming on. I thank you very much for joining us today and answering some of our questions. Hopefully the listeners found them awesome to listen to as well. So that was very cool to get a insider look on how the art and miniatures was made. So, and a little bit of the development. So again, very much appreciated.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us. I learned so much, and it was a blast hearing a little bit about the behind the scenes that hadn't been talked about on a mini extravaganza yet. So
Stay tuned for the next mini extravaganza in later this year. I don't know when. Do you know when?
I have no idea.
It's a new year, so
No.
it could be whenever you want.
I mean, I assume there's one this year. I guess I might be overstepping here.
One hasn't been announced. Is that the spoiler? There is a mini
Yeah, there's
extravaganza.
your spoiler.
There you go.
There's probably
We have
a mini
done it.
extravaganza. There's your spoiler.
Mission accomplished. Thank you guys very much. We really do appreciate it.
Thank y'all for having us. We appreciate what y'all do as well. And yeah, I know it's a lot of work to run a podcast. So cheers.
Thank you.
It's a lot of work making a game, so cheers to
Yeah.
right back to you. We got the easy job, I think.
Yeah, we just talk about your work. And it's been good work.
Thank you very much.
Hey, welcome back to Inglorious Blasters. So that was an awesome interview with AMG, and let's go over some Moff Gideon now. Brendan,
Yeah.
you want to go over his unit card?
I'm happy to. Moff Gideon. I gotta love just the little text underneath his card, because I don't normally read this. It's just "Long live the Empire." I mean, what more do you want? He
Thematic. I love it.
Exactly. He is part of the Empire. He's a commander unit for 100 points. Red defense dice that do surge to defense. Surges to crit, 5 health and courage 3. He's got speed 2. He's got Gideon's custom blaster pistol, which is range 1 to 2, 1 red, 2 black, pierce 1, and advanced combat training for melee, which is 2 red. He also has 2 command upgrades, a training upgrade, a gear upgrade, and an armament upgrade. And his keywords are: he has a free Observe 1, Entourage Imperial Dark Troopers, Ruthless, which is a new keyword. So when another friendly core trooper unit at range 2 and in line of sight that has a face-up order token activates, it may suffer 1 wound to perform 1 free action. He's also got Sharpshooter 1 and Tactical 1. So, I mean, he got a lot on that card. As I said, he has 1 armament. It's the Dark Saber. It's now our 3rd Dark Saber in the game. It's a melee weapon with 5 black dice. It's Moff Gideon only. This unit gains Demoralize 1, and while defending against a melee attack, gains Immune Pierce. And it is also Impact 1 and Pierce 1 for 15 points. And then lastly, we have his command cards. I'll go 3, 2, 1. His 3 pip is Moment of Consideration. It can order either 3 core or heavy units, so just 3 of any of those unit ranks. Units issued orders by this card gain fire support this round. His 2 pip is You Have Something I Want, which had been previously spoiled. It's a paragraph of text. This card orders 2 units. This card cannot be chosen during the first round. After orders have been issued, choose a friendly Imperial Dark Troopers unit that has a face-up order token. Remove that unit from the battlefield, keeping all tokens. Then place it on the battlefield beyond range 2 of all enemy units. Then flip their order token face down. And then lastly, his 1 pip, Die at My Hand, which just orders Moff Gideon. And Moff Gideon gains Relentless, an aim token, and a dodge token.
Spicy.
Ooh, lot to unpack, but I love what I see.
Yeah. Well, I'm not an Empire player, so it doesn't affect me. But he seems really good.
Seems really good.
I
You'll probably see him on the table against you, so he's going to
100%.
affect your game.
I'm
often.
definitely running him. Because I don't think it'll be good. But I love the fact that you could run Gideon and 3 Dark Troopers. And each Dark Trooper can activate twice.
Yeah, that's 6 activations worth, right? When you think about it.
Yeah.
Or 7, including Gideon. My bad.
Yeah. But, yeah, and we still haven't fully gotten all the stats on the Dark Troopers with all their upgrades. But it seems fun. I mean, at minimum, you run Gideon, you're running 1 Dark Trooper because of Entourage. I'm also
I think... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Brendan.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just excited that Moff Gideon is not only good, with Death Troopers. Or, I'm sorry, Dark Troopers. My bad. I'm going to do that the entire podcast, and I apologize. So not only is he good with Dark Troopers, but I think he's going to be like a really good vehicle commander in general, because his 3-pip is really good, and he's going to give observe tokens out to like targets. It just seems like really good stuff, and he can play a backline unit with the Darksaber equipped. It's just a really overall good toolkit. Again, not only for Dark Troopers, but for like vehicles. It's going to be sweet. Or if you want to be even trooper focused, right? Because let's just talk about the 3-pip. Giving fire support is just like, that's no joke.
Yeah.
The Empire is going to have a field day with this. This is going to be insane.
It's going to be amazing giving fire support to core or heavies for a turn.
Right.
It's pretty ridiculous, especially if you just play like Gar for a turn and have all the dice go to somebody who surges to crit. It'll be amazing. Not to mention, paired with his ruthless keyword, it's basically a less good new ways to motivate them, but constant. I mean, it's really good, especially with our knowledge of the new suppression rules coming. Hey,
yeah,
you've got a suppressed unit. All right, kill a guy, free action, recover, and then they've got their 2 actions.
Yeah, he really is the complete package. I mean, between Ruthless, I was thinking that, and being able to recover a unit that then becomes a scoring unit that might not have otherwise been able to because they were panicked. And just the fact that he's a Courage 3 commander for 100 points. That's a very big, Courage bubble of, it's going to take more than 6 to get one of your units to panic while he's on the table. And then you can throw the Darksaber on him, and he's got, the 5-die attack, surge, crit. He can use that 1-pip on his dive turn and get 3 aims between tactical with 2 moves, whack on relentless, and then the aim from the card. And then, like you said, the fire support just opens up so many powerful combos. So he really is an extremely flexible unit at a very affordable cost.
Yeah, and I love how much of he's almost a budget Jedi with the Darksaber. He's definitely a Jedi counter, because he's got Demoralize 1 with the Darksaber. So standbys are useless if you're in contact with him or anywhere near him. He's just going to strip it with the Demoralize.
Yeah, he kind of messes with a lot of the tricks that Maul can pull. I mean, any Force user that's going to take a standby, that's the one that comes to mind first. But there's so many things, and you give him the Darksaber, and the fact that he's only 100 points, he's 115, and he's got the same attack profile and defense profile as a Mandalorian. He's spicy.
Without the Impervious.
That's the intimidating part. Like
without the Impervious, yep.
Yeah, that's the intimidating part. He's got the Death Trooper save, right?
Yeah.
Because they don't have Impervious either, so he could definitely get in there and mix it up.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, looking forward to this guy.
He would feel way too strong if he had more range than range 2. I'm happy that, he's definitely a close range guy and not, overpowered in any way. Like, good at everything. He's definitely a good commander, and he's a decent melee piece, but he's not necessarily the best for contributing otherwise, aside from his command cards.
It is pretty crazy, though, when you compare him to, like, Veers or Krennic at 75 points. I'd pay 25 points for the Courage 3 bubble alone. But then he's got crazy good command cards. Ruthless can open up some kind of funky things that your opponent might not see coming. The Observe is just like a free bonus. And even defensively, he's basically Yoda defensively. Surge, block, 5 wounds, immune pierce.
Only in melee, immune pierce, but
only in melee. But there's just a lot of flexibility there and a lot of cool things that you can do with his toolkit.
Yeah, I mean He looks so much fun. I mean, yeah, his 1 pip, he can get to places if he needs to. His 3 pip, things will die. And his 2 pip is just bonkers, moving a Dark Trooper wherever.
Yeah. Go claim that objective or go run away, save some activation points. Yeah.
Imagine...
It's just so good.
Imagine playing a triple Dark Trooper list with him on rapid reinforcements. You can rapid reinforce 2 Dark Troopers down, and then you can, on the second turn, move another Dark Trooper. And then they're just all up in your face.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
It seems fun. I don't know if it's good. Waiting for Dark Trooper stats, but
man, I mean, John already touched on it, but poor Krennic and Veers. Man, this is just really good. I love the command cards. Like the 3 pip is the one I'm going to be like playing around with the most. Like, how can I make that the most disgusting possible? Is it double ATSD? Is it like short troopers? And then all of a sudden my short trooper unit earns fire support. Yeah, there's good ways to do this.
Imagine that, and then like following it up with, I'm drawing a complete blank on the title. The other Empire 3 pip with all the aims.
Oh, coordinated fire.
That's the one, coordinated fire. Just back to back. Just mayhem.
I was thinking pairing him with Boba, because then you could do rule with respect, like for back-to-back 3 pips, like just adding extra dice and then sit back at range 4, just keep shooting, and then you have this 3 pip when they get close enough to fire support.
So I was actually doing something ridiculous, and everyone's free to laugh at me because, as we said at the beginning of the podcast, we are all unwell minds. I was trying to look and see if it was actually doable to do a Krennic and Gideon list
mashup
with 3 heavies and 4 special forces. No, unfortunately, even without upgrades, it goes over 800 points.
Okay. Phew.
But I tried. I had to see if it was possible.
Yeah.
Because that just seemed too ridiculous not to think about.
Again, overall, super excited for this unit. Any other thoughts, gentlemen, before we close this podcast out?
Having just spoken to Preston, I gotta give big kudos on the artwork for all of Gideon's cards. I mean, the Darksaber art card is just amazing. I mean, it looks so much like Giancarlo Esposito. And then I really like the art on the 3 pip with the Death Troopers and the Stormtroopers. It just looks so nice.
The 1 pip looks really good. Die at my hand.
Yeah.
Like I like the action. You can feel the heavy swing that he's doing. It's good.
Yeah.
Great job, Preston.
Yeah, they're very cool. Just for funsies, I just threw together a Gideon with the Darksaber, triple Dark Troopers, 2 Shores with the T-21, 2 Mortars. So 8 activations, but it'd feel like 11 by the time you double activate the Dark Troopers. That is 648. So that would give you 152 points to kit out the Dark Troopers once the heavies are spoiled.
That's disgusting.
I love
it. You don't care about suppression. Your opponent's really gonna feel the suppression between all your range 4 Death Troopers and then all your suppressive mortar shots. It makes me want to play Empire, honestly. That 3, as soon as I read that 3 pip and saw fire support, I was like, hey, wait a minute.
That's a Gar thing.
That's my keyword. So it actually
we like fun keywords too, John, okay? Not just you.
Yeah. And you know what makes it even better? Is that Dark Troopers have infinite courage. So what suppression? I don't care.
That's your entire force. I mean, half of it just basically doesn't care at all to begin with. And then the other half has the courage bubble
Yeah.
from Moff Gideon.
Infinite courage, red defense saves, and full armor. Yes, please.
Yes, please.
And his command cards are tailored for them to be amazing.
Yep. Cool.
Alrighty, how about we land the ship? We are the Inglorious Blasters. I'm Corey.
I'm John.
I'm Brendan. Yay, art.
If you liked this episode and would like to interact with us, please like our page on Facebook, search for The Inglorious Blasters, a Star Wars Legion podcast. Follow us on Instagram at SWL Inglorious Blasters. Subscribe to us on your preferred podcasting app. Please give us a rating and maybe leave a review. It would really help us out. Stay glorious, everyone.